Thank you very much for joining us on Nationwide News on the network service of the NTA. I am Norlene Ebel-Ame with the news. And here is the news. President Bola Tinubu commends former President General Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida for admitting the victory of late MKO Abiola as winner of June 12, 1993 general election. The president said General Ibrahim Babangida demonstrates unusual courage and patriotism by unraveling the questions about the true outcome of the June 12, thereby setting the records straight. President Bola Tinubu gave the commendation at the launch of Babangida autobiography, A Journey in Service. General Babangida confirmed for the first time in 32 years that Chief Abiola had won the historic June 12 election based on collated results. The former military head of state, Ibrahim Babangida, admitted that annulling the June 12 elections was the most challenging decision of his life, saying, given another chance, he would have handled the situation differently. In his words, and I quote, "That accident of history is most regrettable. The nation is entitled to expect my expression of regret. As a leader of the military administration, I accept full responsibility for all decisions taken under my watch." End of quote. Chairman, Senate Committee on Diaspora and NGOs, Senator Natasha Akpoti, has assured the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission support in 3 key areas to include proper funding of its budget allocation, providing a better office space, and ensure that the welfare of Nigerians living abroad are taken care of. This commitment was made when she received a delegation led by Chairman NIDCAM, Abike Dabre-Erewa, for a briefing session to provide an overview of the Commission's activities and challenges. Dabre-Erewa expressed delight in working with the new chairman of the committee, promising that the Commission looks forward to working closely with the Senate Committee on Diaspora and NGOs to provide the welfare of Nigerians everywhere. While thanking Senator Victor Ume, former chairman of the committee, for its support and guidance for the 19-month relationship with the committee, she used the opportunity to present copies of national diaspora policy publications of previous activities of the Commission, as well as the 2025 NIDCAM calendar of events. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, has appealed to the media to shun sensationalism in reporting the activities of the government of renewed hope. At the 2nd edition of the ministerial press briefing in the year 2025, the minister assured unrelenting flow of information and wants Nigerians to follow the proceedings provided by the platform to interrogate and stay up to date on the activities of the federal government.
That these ministerial press briefings will be given the widest possible coverage through both the traditional and the social media platform, as well as also ensuring that feedback mechanism is properly in place. Like I promised during the inauguration of the 2025 ministerial press briefing, this is one of the efforts of the Tinubu administration to ensure that Nigerians are always informed as accurately, as honestly, as transparently as possible about all programs and policies of government. And needless to say, we expect that the Nigerian media, indeed any other media organization, is expected to also report this with utmost care. The idea is that Nigeria is first for all of us.
27 out of the 47 ministers have so far appeared and gave scorecard of their ministries under the Renewed Hope government. Now, stakeholders on the platform of African democracy, strategy and leadership has proposed a single-day election in the country. The group, which is being led in the dialogue by expert in election matters, Dr. Iroru Izu, believes the monumental was West in conducting elections beyond a single day, which is now a global practice for advanced democracy, is worrisome.
In that, revolve around, I mentioned saves government funds before, saves the economy of unnecessary losses, stop subtle disenfranchisement via bandwagon effect. Now, the truth is that when you conduct two elections, the presidential election first and the parliamentary or legislative elections together, the outcome of that election naturally have untoward effects.
It calls for the National Assembly to ensure the implementation of Justice Mohammed Lawal Waste Committee's recommendation to prevent further available waste of resources. The dialogue recalled figures and statistics of voters and resources deployed in previous elections and expressed fear that if measures are not taken, it will continue to cost the nation more, including the organized private sector. According to the United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, UNESCO, many languages are going extinct within a short pace of time, underscoring the significance of International Mother Tongue Day to promote mother tongue. As Kogi State joins the global community in commemorating this day, Jonathan Omajali explores the need for collective actions to safeguard the state's indigenous languages and ensure their transmission to future generations.
Nigeria is one of the most linguistically diverse countries in the world. According to Ethnologue, an authoritative source on global languages, Nigeria is home to 520 living indigenous languages, along with 12 that have become extinct. Language plays a vital role in communication, cultural identity and education, highlighting the importance of the United Nations International Mother Language Day, which celebrates linguistic diversity worldwide.
We tend to speak to our children using English, and because of it, our children begin to lose grip of our mother tongue. But if we encourage our communication at home using the mother tongue, then I'm sure we'll be able to pick our mother tongue. For example, as a person, I can't speak my local dialect very well because I grew up speaking Pidgin English, where I found myself. And like the thing is translating also to my children.
As Kogi State joins the rest of the world to mark this day, it is essential that everyone takes part in ensuring that the linguistic heritage of the state is preserved.
And also go through the media. Gone are those days where the media play a vital role in ensuring that our languages are preserved. You hear some of our local languages being taught on via our radio stations or TV, but some of these things are gradually going into extinction.
Encourage our students and a lot of people, tell them, speak your dialects.
For speakers of various languages in Kogi State and other parts of Nigeria, now is the time to actively promote their mother tongues, both within their communities and on the global stage. In Lokoja, Jonathan Omajali, NTA News.
And still staying with Jonathan Omajali in Lokoja, he has more insights into preserving Kogi's linguistic heritage. Jonathan, good evening to you. Can you hear me, Jonathan? If you can hear me, Kogi State is home to multi-ethnic groups.
Yes, I can hear you. Good evening.
All right. Oh, that's great. I said Kogi State is home to multi-ethnic groups, each with its own indigenous language. Have you observed any deliberate initiatives aimed at preserving these languages?
Yes, of course, is international mother language. So maybe I should just start by saying, that is Igede language in Benue State, and it means good evening. How is work? Back to the question. Of course, we've seen a lot of initiatives. In 2019, for instance, the state government introduced developed a program, a curriculum to be introduced in schools, in primary and secondary schools, to ensure that Igala and Ibira languages are taught at their schools. The then Commissioner for Education actually said it was in line.
All right, Jonathan, thank you very much. The background noise from where you are standing is actually disturbing. Thank you very much for your contribution. We shall now be joining Hingino John Adams in our Lagos Network Center for more on Nationwide. Hello, Hingino. Over to you. More on Nationwide. Hello, Hingino. Over to you.
Nolene. Language is a fundamental characteristic of human communication, plays a vital role in every aspect of life. As a form of security, the International Mother Tongue Language Day was set aside by the United Nations General Assembly to promote easy communication and prevent extinction of languages and cultures. Lynn Leneke went round the metropolis and came back with this report.
Rich and diverse cultures, national development, social cohesion, and peaceful coexistence cannot be overemphasized. Khalil, for instance, does not only know his roots, but can speak his language.
Good morning, Ekale. Good afternoon, Ekaso. Good evening, Ekale.
These respondents believe knowing and speaking the native languages remain crucial to developing tolerance and respect for one another.
And even in Lagos, even with so many Igbo people in this Lagos. So what I said in Lagos, we have a lot of Igbo people in Lagos, and it's very important that we, relate with people that we know, basically in terms of our language. It has a way of increasing our chances of interacting when it comes to businesses.
We should not lose touch with our roots and our mother tongue, because it's such a rich language and a rich culture which they should imbibe.
Growing up as a child, my parents never really spoke the Igbo to me. They were only on English, so as a grown man now, I kind of struggle to speak, so I don't want my kids to face the same thing.
The idea to commemorate the International Mother Language Day was conceived in Bangladesh, and UNESCO approved it in 1999. The day affirms the importance of linguistic diversity in fostering unity among families and the world.
It creates more bond and confidence among the people when you communicate in your mother tongue. It is very, very key to unity.
In Lagos, Lynn Leneke, NTA News.
Now away from Mother Language Day, as part of efforts to check the rising cost of building materials, the federal government is proposing the establishment of building materials manufacturing hub in the 6 geopolitical zones of the country. Minister of Housing and Urban Development Ahmed Ngiwa said the aim is to encourage local manufacturing and production of building materials components. Bolaji Akin completes the story.
Daily in the country's population and migration from urban to rural areas, the need for provision of affordable houses is inevitable. The rising cost of building materials is, however, working against the realization of closing the housing deficit gap. This stakeholders' engagement is geared towards developing fiscal incentives for manufacturers of local building materials components in the country in order to enhance local production of building materials to reduce the high cost of building houses.
We were also brainstorming to see what other way in terms of designs, in terms of increasing affordability, in terms of many methods that we can use to bring down the cost of building materials, especially for the common man.
Provision of regulatory supports, enabling environment, investments in technological research are some of the incentives that the summit is advocating to encourage local production of building materials.
If harnessed properly, government policy and regulatory interventions can serve as catalysts for domestic production, ensuring the availability of high-quality, affordable building materials while fostering industrial growth.
While the plan to establish building materials manufacturing hub is seen as a great relief, manufacturers are also being cautioned against misuse of incentives targeted at reducing the price of building materials.
When government puts incentive, instead of taking advantage of incentives to improve on their manufacturing capacity, they've started diverting the incentives to trading, importation of goods and services and all that.
Key players believe adoption and implementation of outcome of the summit will lead to reduction in the cost of building houses, job creation, and also promoting Nigeria-made materials for exports. In Lagos, Bolaji Akim, NTA News.
Those are the stories from Lagos. Nationwide will continue in Enugu after the break.
Welcome to Enugu Network Center. As part of efforts to boost grassroots development and grow the state economy, the Enugu state government has held its quarterly performance appraisal for local government chairmen to evaluate their activities in the past year and assist them in areas of challenges for optimal performance in 2025. Chika Ugu reports that the council chairmen were judged based on their efficiency and project delivery.
To what obtained in the leadership of the state, the local government chairmen have been put to their toes to get their job done diligently through the local government performance appraisal and strategic planning framework. The idea is for the council chairman to work assiduously in alignment with the state government's vision of eradicating poverty, growing the state's economy, and driving governance through feedback for transparency and accountability. The secretary to the state government, who represented the governor, took time to scrutinize the chairman based on their recorded successes in the last year and prospects for 2025.
What you have seen today is us now going back and making sure that the culture of this government, which is around evidence-based decision-making process, is exemplified.
The council chairman, alongside their deputies, rolled out their achievements in areas such as education, infrastructure, security, agriculture, health, water, revenue generation through public and private partnership, among other initiatives.
We've also focused on commerce and industry, of course, paying attention to our markets, and paying attention to the general atmosphere for businesses in Enugu.
We are putting up infrastructural developments, roads, bridges, markets, and then...
The governor commended the local government chairmen for their dedication to work and charged them to redouble their efforts to cascade the governor's development vision to the rural areas. In Enugu, Chika Ugu, NTA News.
Investing in the educational pursuit of the future generation and other capacity initiative is one of the policy thrusts of the member representing Enugu North and South Federal Constituency, Timobi Atu, as demonstrated at the inauguration of a reconstructed and furnished 6 classroom blocks for primary school children at the Coal Camp, Enugu. Tiagono Aro completes the story.
The teaching and learning condition in most public schools are calling for attention due to dilapidation of structures over time. This is the story of Coal Camp Primary School, Obete, Enugu State, built in 1924. Before it got the attention of the member representing Enugu North and South Federal Constituency, Chimobi Sam Ato. The move is part of his campaign promises, stressing the need to build the future of the young generation through investment and other capacity-building initiatives.
I declare this year classroom in the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit.
The futures of tomorrow lies on these children. It's not about politics, it's about in you. What do you have? The upbringing, the kind of heart you have for the society.
Some stakeholders in the constituency who expressed joy over the development say their representative has shown dedication and selflessness by ensuring that the project was completed within record time.
By 2 years ago, when I came to this parish, or 3 years ago, the blocks were falling off, and that was a danger.
What we are seeing today, we never believed that our dreams in this schools might one day become a reality.
Honorable Chimobi Ato is a man, is a Tokunadu. When we came here, it was an eyesore.
The pupils were also presented with learning materials and other incentives to give them a sense of belonging. In Enugu, Shiegono Aro, NTA News.
Those are the stories from here. Is back to Abuja for more reports on Nationwide.
Thank you very much, Comfort Anyim from our Enugu Network Center. The Minister of State for Works, Bello Goronyo, has reiterated federal government's commitment to bridging road infrastructure deficits across the country. He gave this commitment during an inspection of road projects executed by the Federal Road Maintenance Agency, FEMA, in Nasarawa State. Saadatu Awalu Salihu's report is here presented.
The projects inspected include the 55-kilometer Shandam Biking Regia Road linking Nasarawa and Plateau State, where the minister expressed satisfaction with the quality of work done.
We are managing over 36,000 kilometers of roads, and some of these roads were constructed over 40 years ago and has never received attention in the past. It is now that Mr. President, under his renewed hope agenda, has received, is receiving a lot of attention.
Once we have a proactive maintenance of this road, we will derive more value and serviceability from the road, and road users will enjoy better experience.
The zonal coordinator, North Central 2, Vanoka Birie, and that of Nasarawa State, Aliyu Muhammad, who gave the performance outlay, noted that despite challenges, about 80% of work has been achieved.
Talking education, like every human endeavor, teaching profession has its own challenges, but the professionals must show resilience, commitment, and above all, commit everything to the Supreme Being for his intervention. That way, no matter how enormous those challenges can be surmounted. These are the views of National President of National Union of Teachers and some religious leaders at the union's 2025 Solemn Assembly, organized by the national leadership in Abuja. The union holds the Solemn Assembly. The union holds the Solemn Assembly at the beginning of every year to commit its undertakings to the hand of God by inviting religious men for admonishments and prayers. The teachers have been told to always have good conscience, as they are instruments of instilling discipline and moral values on pupils and students.
For us to summon those challenges and come out victorious is what is significant. And we can not do that on our own, except we seek the face of God Almighty.
Plan something good. Let somebody have mercy.
I want it to be a violent prayer. You open your mouth, call the name of Jesus one time, and tell God, let there be a greater attention from every quarters to the yearning of teachers in this country. Open your mouth and pray.
May this union continue
to succeed.
As the Bayelsa state government under the leadership of Governor Doediri mark 1 year anniversary of its second term, political stakeholders and residents have placed the policies and programs outlined and implemented in a scale of assessment number, especially as the government engaged in inauguration of projects. But how has or will these policies and programs impact on the lives of the people? Ibinimizi Timiyola interacted with the people in different spheres of life and filing this report.
The She Farmers Initiative is capitalizing on this attention to introduce a national livestock project designed to effectively empower rural women across the nation.
We want to have clusters of them, of women in each ward in the whole nation. We're starting from FCT. We want to give them some sheep and goats to rear.
Now, She Farmers is coming on board to ensure that women enroll into climate-smart agriculture.
What she is doing actually is creating resilience, economic resilience, climate resilience, but most importantly, women empowerment as a national endowment.
In the course of the year also, the She Farmers engage in a lot of collaboration because these days collaboration is key.
They must continue with what they have started. More people should be brought into the fold.
During a discussion on the program's theme, Overcoming Challenges in Entrepreneurship and Food Security, panelists put forth constructive recommendations. They advocated for increased access to capital for women, comprehensive training in technological innovations, and the establishment of markets for their products. Ramatu Abdullahi, NTA.
A book titled Pension Administration System in Nigeria has been unveiled to the public. Written out of concern for retirees and drawing from the author's first-hand experience as a pension administrator in the FCT. Mariam George Jutubo has the details.
The 7-chapter book highlights issues in pension fund administration and exploring the Pension Reform Act. The book aims to improve the pension sector and assist public officers in planning their retirement. Book reviewer and former permanent secretary, FCTA, Olushade Adeshola, praised the book, saying it will empower public servants with knowledge on financial security after retirement.
It is not only government that can arrange a pension system for you. As a worker, you can also put in place a pension arrangement for yourself. In this way, from the very first day you start your career, you can now start setting aside some amount through a pension fund administrators, which by the time you are retiring, even when government pension is not yet coming, you'll be able to draw your own pension.
Stakeholders commended the author, Nanzing Ndeng, former director of the FCT Area Council Staff Pension Board, for sharing his expertise to address pension matters in the FCT.
The renewed hope of pension schemes, the renewed hope of retirement strategy, the renewed hope for pensioners is here. And that is the book we are launching today.
The book will also be beneficial, not only to the FCT staff, but to the pensioners and the Nigerian populace.
Nanzing Ndeng drew from his 35 years of experience to write the book, aiming to improve the lives of senior citizens.
I purposely wrote this so that other people coming behind us will understand the dynamics of pension administration and will not fall into the same pitfalls that others have fallen into. So the motivation is for us to have a more sustained pension administration going forward.
The author hopes the book will impact pension administration in Nigeria and keep stakeholders informed about pension matters nationwide. Mariam George, Jitubo, NTA News.
Yeah, still on to nationwide news on the network service of the NTA. Let's pause here for a second break. Stay with us. Thank you for staying with us on Nationwide. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, hands over the sum of more than $130,000 and 70,602,000 naira to the governments of the United States, Spain, and Switzerland. Among the items handed over includes a Mercedes-Benz and a bungalow in Angwanrimi, Kaduna, which was said to be as a result of intelligence report, which led to investigation and subsequent recovery of the monies and items. Handing over the restitution documents to the representative of the various governments, the chairman of the commission attributes the gesture to the commitment of the Nigerian government in fighting financial and economic crimes.
Of the federal government of Nigeria to the fight against corruption and financial crimes. A commitment to good governance, a commitment to stimulating the economy, and a commitment to prove to the entire world that Nigeria is not a safe haven for financial crimes. A commitment to international cooperation and international synergy when it comes to the fight against financial crimes, which you all agree with me has become a global crime.
This is really unprecedented development, and you cannot believe the impact that this development will have on the mandate of the ministry, because it makes our work a whole lot easier.
We really do appreciate and we thank the EFCC. The EFCC is just not operating in Nigeria. The EFCC is a major global contender.
The National Environmental Standards Regulations and Enforcement Agency, NESRIA, has so far developed 36 national regulations and various national environmental guidelines. These were disclosed by the Director General, Dr. Innocent Bariko, during a media briefing in his office. Mina Daniels was there and now reports.
As a foremost environmental watchdog of the nation, the National Environmental Standards and Regulations Enforcement Agency, NESRA, is not resting on its oars at fulfilling its mandate of ensuring enforcement of environmental laws, regulations, guidelines, policies and standards in accordance to conventions, protocols and treaties to which Nigeria is signatory.
Towards the achievement of this mandate, the agency so far has engaged in several programs and activities, including environmental compliance monitoring and enforcement, sensitization and awareness creation through education.
With the ultimate goal to achieve the culture of voluntary compliance from the regulated community, where facility operators proactively adhere to extant environmental laws, NESRA has enforced about 96 recalcitrant facilities across different states for committing environmental infractions.
The last enforcement exercise, a total of about 25 charges were filed. With enforcement as a regulator, criminal prosecution really is the last step of the options that are available to us.
The media briefing is not only to take stock of activities of the agency, especially since the current DG mounted the saddle in 2024, but to reiterate its readiness to go the miles in achieving complete environmental serenity, devoid of hazards for the Nigerian populace.
Part of the activities of the committee will first start with an awareness program to all the institutions, the government institutions, to now be aware of this executive order and begin to make adjustments.
In Abuja, Mina Daniels, NTA News.
The wife of Jigawa State Governor Hajia Hadiza Umar Namadi has flagged off the transformative Women in Dawa program, an initiative aimed at enhancing the role of women in religious education, moral guidance and community development. The program seeks to empower women as key agents of social change, fostering a society rooted in strong moral values, peace and progress. Hawa Haliru Haruna reports.
The program has selected 575 instructors from across the 27 local government areas of Jigawa State, chosen based on their religious knowledge and educational qualifications. These instructors will play a pivotal role in promoting religious enlightenment, social development, and economic cohesion. The Transformative Women in Da'awa program is designed to empower women, enabling them to take on more active roles in religious and societal matters. Hajiya Hadiza Umar Namadi, alongside the Commissioner for Women Affairs, Hajiya Hadiza Abdulwahab, emphasized that the initiative goes beyond strengthening moral and ethical values. It also aimed to raise awareness on critical issues such as health, education, and economic empowerment for women.
I call on to the instructors of this da'wah to be faithful, to be patient, and above all, fear of Allah in discharging their duties.
The governor of Jigawa State, Malam Umar Namadi, who was the guest of honor at the event, highlighted the importance of spiritual awakening in addressing contemporary societal challenges.
We're embarking on a journey that resonates deeply with our values and our vision of a society where every woman is educated, enlightened, empowered, and equipped to be a beacon of light and guidance and an ambassador of progress and development in our communities.
The event was attended by prominent religious leaders, including imams and female scholars, who shared teachings from the Holy Quran and the tradition of the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him. They encouraged the instructors to remain steadfast, patient, and committed to their roles in guiding the community. From Dusi, Hawa Halar Haruna, NTA News.
In response to pressing challenges on climate change, the National Human Rights Commission has approved the establishment of a climate change unit. Executive Secretary of the Commission, Tony Ojukwu, disclosed this at a stakeholders engagement on the Regional African Human Rights Academic Network in Abuja. Recognizing the impact of environmental degradation and climate change on human rights across the globe, the unit is expected to promote advocacy, build a community of practice of human rights and research on climate change in Africa.
The multi-sectoral, bringing together a range of stakeholders to create a rich body of resources that will help address the intersection between climate change and human rights in a comprehensive way.
This is emphasized by the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change 6th Assessment Report that recommends adaptation and mitigation actions that prioritize a rights-based approach to addressing climate change as one of the pathways to increase resilience and reduce sensitivity to climate change impacts.
We need to have every university or every institution of higher learning have a curriculum that teaches human rights, have also a curriculum that contains issues around the environment, have a curriculum that speaks to climate change.
The forum expects to strengthen Africa's environmental governance with best approaches towards rights protection by human rights bodies and natural resources conservators. Murder is not just the taking of a life, it is a theft of dreams, silencing of laughter, and of course destruction of future. This best describes the horrifying tragedy that struck in Ilorin involving Yetunde Lawal, a 24-year-old final year student at the Kwara State College of Education, Ilorin, who was gruesomely murdered by a man she allegedly met on social media. Aisha Abubakar Yahaya reports that the suspect went further to dismember her body for suspected spiritual purposes.
The 4-year-old Yetunde Lawal was full of life, with dreams waiting to be fulfilled. But last Monday, the world of her family was shattered when she vanished without traces. fearing the worst could have happened. Her parents reported her disappearance to the police in Ilorin.
On the 10th of this month, 2025, I discovered that my daughter was missing among his peers. We were having a naming ceremony in our area, and it's a very just few distance to our house. So our mom discovered that she was not among our peer again. So she came home and informed me. Then I called her number. The phone rang, but she couldn't pick. So later I called her number later in the evening, like 6:30. The two phones were switched off.
Fair justice.
I want justice. That is all I want. Government should intervene.
Investigations traced her last phone call to a man named Abdurrahman Muhammad Bello, a resident of Ofa Garage in Ilorin, popularly known to be an Alfa. When questioned, Bello denied any involvement, insisting he knew nothing about Yetunde's whereabouts, but the truth lay hidden within the walls of his home, waiting to be uncovered. A search in his apartment unraveled a chilling horror as Yetunde's phone, her slippers, and 12 other female pairs were found inside. A table, much more of a slaughter slab, stained with blood, stood as a silent witness to an unspeakable crime. He claimed Yetunde had died from an asthma attack after he invited her over. But how does that relate with the dismemberment of her body? The confirmation of this gruesome act came when grieving father recognized his daughter's arms, still wearing the ring she always wore.
The suspect was apprehended and he made very useful statements. He confessed to the crime and admitted that he had disposed of the body as well. You can be rest assured that justice will be served.
Meanwhile, the suspect, Abdurrahman Mohammed Bello, has appeared before a magistrate court where he was ordered to be remanded at the Okekura Correctional Center in Ilorin with 4 other suspects who he mentioned during interrogation. It was a tough time for the security men to control crowd and prevented them from lynching the suspect, who himself showed no remorse. The Emir Alhaji Ibrahim Sulu Gambari, the national coordinator of the Muslim Media Watch Group, Alhaji Abdullah Ibrahim, the Director General, National Institute of Legislative and Democratic Studies, Professor Abubakar Sulaiman, and other community leaders issuing press statements to condemn this strange act in the Muslim-dominated community. The Kwara State Governor, Abdurrahman Abdurazak, was also at the residence of the family of the victim to condole with them over the incidents. Despite still being in sad mood, justice is what the family of the 24-year-old Yetunde Hafsat Lawal is demanding. And with the interest the case has already generated, it is hoped that justice will be served accordingly. Aisha Abubakar Yahaya, NTA News.
Thank you, Aisha. Strategic collaboration with the state governments offers a promising approach to tackling the nation's healthcare challenges. Coordinating Minister of Health, Muhammad Ali Pate, said this at the Kano State Government House during a recent meeting with state officials. Abdullahi Mustafa has the details.
The Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Muhammad Ali Pate, is on another official visit to Kano. For the minister, Kano is a central element in Nigeria's effort to deal with any disease and addressing key health challenges in the country.
So we're very grateful that His Excellency signed into law the Kano State Center for Disease Control Law. So congratulations for that.
It was an opportunity for him and other partners to engage with state officials to discuss effective strategies for tackling pressing health concerns, including the eradication of polio, reducing maternal mortality, and enhancing routine immunization efforts.
Preparedness of the team, the selection of the teams, the readiness, the financial support that is needed. We will provide the vaccines alongside the GPI partners.
On behalf of Governor Yusuf, Secretary to the Government of Kano State Umar Faruk Ibrahim told the minister that healthcare is the second most prioritized sector in the state's 2025 budget. He reiterated the state's full commitment to routine immunization programs and fully supporting President Tinubu's health sector investment renewal initiative. In Kano, Abdullahi Mustafa, NTA News.
The report from Kano there concludes Nationwide today. Thank you for watching. I am Nolin Ebel Ame. Good evening.